compliance through a well-structured and educational process. And the campaign has targeted all categories of taxpayers and citizens, of course, including you listening to me now. Yeah. And a key component of the step is the modified taxation scheme. And I thought you needed a bit more education about it. It's a simplified and flexible and easy way of taxing those informal sector workers and businesses. To know the components of it, very good friends came by. Mr. Isaac Kobina Amwako is the head of IT Training Center and the Chief Revenue Officer. Mr. Opoku Afriya Sante is Technical Lead, Modified Taxation, GRA, and Principal Revenue Officer, and the brothers are in the studio. Welcome.
Thank you.
How are we doing today?
Lexis. I'm doing
We're
great.
good? Nice,
good,
nice,
yeah.
nice. Okay, I'm happy you came by because we needed to clarify the modified taxation scheme for my very wonderful listener who's tuned in now. So let's get to it now. Let's talk about the modified taxation scheme. What exactly are we talking about?
So to set the tone, one of the challenges that we face as an authority is to rake in more revenue from the informal sector. So the modified taxation scheme is one designed with simplicity and ease of calculation in mind.
Okay.
Because tax is a bit very structured. You need records before you can apply the tax rates. So the modified taxation seeks to make it that simple in terms of calculation and in terms of how to even the number of records that you need to apply.
Okay.
It's just a simplified way of looking at taxes by the taxpayer. Yeah.
Lexis, thank you very much, Isaac. Just to add to what Isaac is saying, you realize that for some of us who are employees, most often than not, or let me say all the time, before you receive your salary, your employer would have already deducted your income tax. But for those who operate businesses, cocoa seller, wache seller, there's nobody is in that loop to remit or deduct their income tax. So what we are saying is that for such businesses, we are making it very simple for you to be able to pay your income tax to the state. So that's just a bit I want to add to
that
for
makes
the
it
context.
very clear as well. I mean, so what categories are we looking at? What thresholds and who actually qualifies?
Let me add some context, then we go to the qualification.
Okay.
Prior to the modified taxation coming, we had one scheme that people are used to. We call the tax stamp. There's a predefined tax rate that we give to some categories of taxpayers.
Okay.
So that is a semblance of what the modified taxation is. Nana, at the
Yes. So we have three categories. So we have what we call presumptive tax based on installment, but we want people to just call that PTI because modified taxation, we from GRA's perspective, we say no long things. So we want the public to know that there are three categories: PTI, PTT, and then MCB.
Okay.
So for PTI, if your turnover, that is your sales within an entire year, so you're a cocoa seller, you've been able to sell cocoa, and then your turnover or the sales you've made for that entire year is 20,000 and below, then you qualify under the first category, which is PTI.
The PTI.
Yes. For the PTT and MCB, if your turnover, your sales, your entire sales for the year is between 20,000 and 500,000 Ghana cedis, then we categorize you under either the PTT or the MCB. So these are the categories and the thresholds under them.
Okay, so we know we are looking at the informal sector. So then a lot of it goes undocumented in the informal sector. A lot of their transactions and all. So what kind of documents are we required to produce in registering for this?
So because it's very simplified, the minimum documents we are looking at will be the Ghana card, a phone number, and the Ghana post GPS location. These are the minimum data requirement that one can use to do the registration.
Okay.
And because this particular group is a bit difficult to get, we are promoting voluntary compliance where people on their own can use their own mobile phones to do the registration. First, by having their Ghana card number, a valid mobile phone number, and the Ghana Post GPS address, and that's the minimum that we can take. Then you give us some information on your daily sales,
Okay.
and you are good to go with the registration. Very minimum registration requirement.
Yeah. But how does the tax filing work under this scheme as well?
Yeah, so with the filing, we have the payment and then the filing.
Okay.
So with the filing, ordinarily, let's say you've done business for 2025. Filing will happen in 2026.
So it's
Okay.
annually.
It's annual.
It's not a monthly
It's
filing
not monthly.
like.
But when it
you
comes to payments, that's where we can do monthly under the modified taxation. Although we have specific due dates when you are supposed to make these payments, but under the modified taxation, because we want to make things very easy, you can even decide to pay everything.
Okay.
So let's say those under the PTI, those who have their turnover up to 20,000, you are supposed to pay, let's say, 45 CDs every quarter. You can decide to pay upfront the entire 45 CDs for each quarter. You can decide to pay all upfront, or you can also stagger it every month. Then you'll be paying to the end of the year. So these are some of the things we've put in place. If you want to pay, you can go ahead, use the mobile app, the MTS Taxpayers app, which is available on Play Store and then the App Store
the
for
App
download.
Store.
And then you can also dial a short code *222 hash, or also use *880 hash to make payments.
Okay. So what happens if an excluded individual tries to apply for the various categories of the MTS?
I think let's talk about those who are excluded, then we talk about what happens to them. So we have three categories, as Nana have said: the presumptive tax based on installments, presumptive tax based on turnover, and then the last category, which we call the modified cash basis. Now the first two, we prefix them by presumptive. That means that the tax rate is calculated in advance.
Okay.
So the first category, they are fixed rates: 45 cedis, 35 cedis, and 25 cedis. That's the very first category. Those below the 20,000, they have this fixed rate to pay per quarter. Then the second category, where it's above 20,000 but below 500,000, it's a fixed rate of 3% of your turnover. Now for these two categories, there are some exclusions. The exclusions are: if you are an employee, you don't qualify to be part of the first two. That's if you are a self-employed business, but at the same time you are an employee as well. Then you don't qualify to be part of the first two, but you can belong to the modified cash basis. If your business is also such that you have multiple branches or outlets, then you can't also belong to the first two. That's the installment and then the turnover. You have to belong to the modified cash basis. Then if you're a professional body, or you belong to a professional body, or you're a professional, you also you can't do the first, second. The rationale being that, the first two are to simplify the computation for people who keep minimal record.
Okay.
But for the MCB, it means you can keep some bit of record. So we are trying to train you to become a regular taxpayer.
Okay.
And then you can move to the standard tax rate. So that is a transition period. That's
Okay.
the MCB.
Yeah.
Where we gradually groom you to become a regular taxpayer.
Now this makes it a lot clearer. I'm grateful that you came by. Any final words before we wrap up?
Yes, I think so far what we've noticed around, especially in the market areas, is that a lot of people who operate within this sector confuse taxes with AMA's permits. So they would, when you approach them, they will tell you, "Oh, I've already paid for, I've already made payments to AMA for my permit," and that should suffice. But that understanding is wrong. So we want to also use this opportunity to appeal to the general public that whenever you make payment for a permit to the AMA, that is not tax. The tax is only administered by the Ghana Revenue Authority. So we want people to, we are pleading with people that anytime GRA officials come over to you, you should understand that it is for purposes of any income that you have derived from your business that they are going to ask questions and then help you understand what you need to pay. And we should not confuse that with the AMA permits that we pay.
Good stuff. I mean, this is so good. Any final words, Isaac?
So we have a contact number that people can also reach us. We have a toll-free number. That's 0800 900 110. So anyone who wants further information concerning the taxes, they can reach out to our office on that. Those who can send email to can do info.mts@gra.gov.gh.
Okay,
so
that's
that we
great.
can give further information. Yeah.
I'm grateful you came by.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for
you very
helping
much.
us
Thank you,
clarify the modified taxation scheme. Isaac Kobnamwako is head of IT Training Center and Chief Revenue Officer. And Opoku Free Asante is technical lead, modified taxation. GRA is a principal revenue officer as well. Stay tuned in to Joy 99.7 FM. That's more after this.